What's up, everybody? It's a funnel doc, and today we're going to be going over part one of how to make $1 million funnel. This is where I'm going to lay out the actual structure of the funnel and how it's going to be created. So I'm using Funnelytics here, and we've already got a couple of steps laid out. What we want to do is first set up the opt-in. Now, what the opt-in is basically bait that we're going to use to get your ideal customer to come into your ecosystem. If we were doing this, 10 years ago, people gave away their emails like they were nothing. But nowadays, a person's private email is very important to them. And they always want to make sure that they're getting something in value for exchange for it. So our opt-in is going to be a valuable PDF, ebook, mini course, something like that that's going to actually give them value, that's going to actually be able to solve a problem, help educate them, whatever problem or they're looking to fix, we're going to help give them with a lead magnet. It's usually going to be short, to the point, and about probably 5 minutes long, give or take. So here we have the opt-in. And of course, after the opt-in, we always need a thank you page. Thank you page. Boom. Let's connect these two here. All right. So now we've got our opt-in, we've got our thank you page. Let's go ahead and quickly build those out in ClickFunnels. We've got ClickFunnels already opened up with the auto webinar, and confirmation. The way to get this layout, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go into ClickFunnels, set up a funnel, set one up for the auto webinar feature, and delete the broadcast room. We're not going to be using that. Most people are going to be using things like EverWebinar. All the people I'm going to be working with, or the ways I'm going to be showing you, are going to be using EverWebinar to help broadcast our actual webinars from. So the replay room, we're going to keep that because we will use it, but the broadcast room, we're not going to be using that because we'll be using EverWebinar. So let's go ahead and set up our opt-ins real quick here. We're going to give these very simple naming so it's easy for you. And by the way, everyone, in the description is a link where you can actually download into your ClickFunnels account this actual funnel that I'm building now. And every time we go throughout the process in the mini course and learn more, we're going to be adding more to this funnel. And at the end of the mini course, you'll have the complete sort of outline of this funnel, or at least a very good template that you're going to be able to do a lot of great magic with. So let's move this opt-in here up to where it belongs. We're going to make the opt-in thank you page real quick. There we go. Boom. Make that. And come back to our magic funnel. The next thing we're going to need now is this is something that I think is very overlooked. A lot of people, they do their lead magnet, they set up all the free, but they don't have something that's going to bridge the gap from free, where they're just getting value from you, to where they're actually paying you a decent amount of money, like a webinar. I recommend a webinar to be, from that $9.97 to maybe as high as $5 grand, if not maybe $3 grand, but in that range. It depends on what the product is. After about $5 grand or above, or $3 grand, again, that's a little gray area depending on the product, you're going to find you're going to want to move the environment. You're going to want to go into having actual salespeople online that's going to actually be closing these higher ticket products, because when you're asking someone for $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, it usually can't be done through a video. I'm not saying they can't, but usually can't be done. And that's where the person-to-person, whether you're jumping on a Zoom or a phone call and you're actually talking to them, finding their pain points out and closing them for the high ticket. But that's a whole different area. We'll get into high tickets later. This right now is just our basic $1 million funnel. So we've got the opt-in. The next thing we're going to be putting in here is our actual Tripwire. We're going to put it's similar. It's a sales page, but let's call it a Tripwire page instead. And I'm also going to be giving you guys this layout. This diagram is going to also be in the description. Look down there. You'll be able to find this. You'll be able to download it, so you'll have the copy of this for yourself, as well as, like I said, the funnel itself. Now, the Tripwire, again, this is going to be just something that's going to get them to get their credit card. It's going to be very low ticket. It's mainly to get them spending or used to already giving money. If you can get them to buy something at a low cost, when you ask them for a higher ticket, it's not as crazy, because I've already paid you once, I already got good value from you. Obviously, that was good. Maybe the high ticket's better. you know, and that also just breaks down the know, like, and trust factor. So we always want to try and include a tripwire. Dan Henry did had a great tripwire back in his early days, right before when it used to be, it was Facebook ads for entrepreneurs, I believe was the course name way back in the day. And he had what was called Pixel Hero, which everyone has, or most people when they're first getting into Facebook ads and that type of thing, which a lot of Dan's course was about, is Facebook ads. They had trouble with pixels. So Dan put together a tripwire that was, I believe it was like $49, maybe $39. And it basically told you everything you need to know about pixels and Facebook pixels. You know, like the solid basics at least, you know, it didn't go super in depth or anything, but it did a really good job that when you were done, you felt confident that you knew about, you know, Facebook pixels. And then that led to his actual webinar where he had a product for Facebook ads course, which was $9.97. The great thing about Pixel Hero is because it was done so well, again, it gets the credit card out, gets you in the buying mood, but it already shows you that Dan knows his shit, excuse my language. But it does, it shows you Dan knows his stuff, and you can only imagine how good his course is going to be if his tripwire, his low ticket item, is done so well. So now we have our tripwire. This is going to connect. Now I'm connecting these right now for, you know, for the visualization of this actual, you know, diagram or schematic here. It doesn't have to be this way. You could have, you know, multiple opt-ins, you know, and maybe you've only got one tripwire. Maybe all of them all go to that same tripwire. You know, it's very possible that this is how it's set up. If it was set up this way, I would not put everything in the same funnel. I recommend only putting things in the same funnel if a sequence flows to another sequence and you want to track those stats. It's much easier to do it when it's all in the same funnel. So keep that in mind when you break things up and put things in separate funnels. But I would have this opt-in funnel, this opt-in funnel, and this opt-in funnel then linked to this funnel right here. You know, I'd have each of these going just like I've drawn it out right here. Jumped into ClickFunnels real quick. So we've got that set up. Now let's open up a Tripwire page where we're going to have to do, Tripwires are actually done underneath sales pages. So let's add a new step here. Tripwire. Hope everyone's enjoying this so far. This is really exciting for me. I love funnels a lot, and I think that funnels are the future. Websites will soon be dead. There will not be websites before you know it. Everything will be a funnel. The only place that you'll go for a website will be like major corporations like Coke or something like that, that they just want to get information out about something. If you actually want to sell a product, funnels are the way to go. And let's real quick build the Tripwire. And I just noticed I spelled Tripwire, I believe, wrong on there. Thank you. That's funny. But again, no one sees this but us builders and everyone that's doing the funnels, so it's not as important. So we've got the Tripwire, and I can always change it. We'll go back and change it, you know, after this is over. So we've got the Tripwire set up. We've got the webinar confirmation. Now, in the actual funnel itself, you're going to see that they call it the webinar countdown. I call it a webinar confirmation. This is where they go after they register here for the actual webinar. They go here. Usually on, I don't want to get into it. I'm going to tell you secrets about this. It's going to up your conversion like crazy. It's going to blow your mind. But anyway, we'll get to that later. And then you've got the replay room for anyone that's not able to make the original broadcast itself. Then we got the Tripwire. Let's move that guy into position. The next thing we're going to want to do is add the actual sales page. So this is the sales page. Now, a lot of people are going, why are you adding a sales page? You got a webinar. That is correct. But we're putting this all in one long funnel in one sequence. So I want you to be able to visualize where a sales page would go, because for the people that don't buy the original time, are you going to always send them back to a webinar so that they can see the same webinar you just saw? No. How else are we going to engage these people? We could send them directly to an order form, but how is that? A good sales page. So what we're going to do is after the webinar, we're going to put a sales page right where it is. And let's add that to the actual funnel. Bam. And there we go. So sales page. After the sales page, we're going to do what comes next. We're going to do the order page. Boom, ba-doom. Order page here. Let's drag this guy out, and then we'll put it in ClickFunnels. There's the order page. Now, these, again, the flow of your funnel depends on, how it's going to go. This is the obvious flow, like I want people to see. But like I said before, you could have, 3 or 4 different opt-ins here. You don't have, or 5. I usually like to have my clients have 3 to 5 solid lead magnets. When I first start working with someone, I'll be like, let's make 10 lead magnets. We're going to make 10 lead magnets. We're going to find out what works the best. We're going to boil it down to our strongest 3 to 5, and then we're going to start using paid traffic, or if you're blessed enough to have a following, organic traffic, or a combination of both, to that lead magnet so we can start growing our bot list, start growing our email list, so that way we can be engaging people for a much less cost. Realize that the cost for someone to opt in on opt-in page, a good opt-in page, should have about 50-60% opt-in. So with that said, let's say just for simple math that we're getting leads to our opt-in for as little as 50 cents, because leads and opt-in go very cheap compared to leads to a sales page. So say we're getting 50 cents, 30 cents, whatever, easy math, let's say 50 cents. Let's say we're closing at 50% for the opt-in. That means for every 2 people, we're going to get 1. So if we're paying 50 cents for basically every dollar now, we've just figured out our cost to acquire a lead. It's $1. Because think about this, if it costs 50% of the time, so 1 out of every 2 is going to get closed on this opt-in, and it costs us 50 cents to get someone there, so 2 people have to go, so when we go close, $1 per lead. Does that make sense? So that's where the normal, if you go to a cold sales page, 2%, 2 to 8%. That means 2 to 8 people out of every 100 people are going to buy your product. Let's get these people in there. So now we're getting them in for free. Well, if you're going from an ad, you could be anywhere from $1 to $20, or depending on the price of your product, you could be paying $100 or more per lead, all right, to be able to, or per conversion. So if we have an email system in place, now we're getting them in for much cheaper because we got them in through our opt-in. Maybe we've got them in through the Tripwire. The great thing about the Tripwire is it's also called a self-liquidating offer. Excuse me, a self-liquidating offer. Now what this does is this helps alleviates that cost. So now let's say we're doing our Tripwire for, let's just do $10, and our opt-ins to get people in are $2, or whatever, we're figuring out our sales. Now every person that we're getting this by, that Tripwire is helping to get that price down that we're having to pay for each of those leads. And if you get the perfect system in there, those Tripwires will actually wash, or you'll break even, you'll make tiny money on them. And so then you're getting free leads. You're getting free opt-ins. The price won't even matter. That's the purpose of the Tripwire, is to get that spot in there to where you're actually going to help recoup some of that money before you even make the big sale, the ticket item that you're really focusing on, which is the webinar itself, or the webinar product, that $997 to $3,000, maybe $5,000. So we've got the sales page. We need to put an order page in here real quick. Add new step. Order page. Boom, order page. All right. And then from the order page, this is what makes ClickFunnels so amazing, is that you're able to add things like downsales and upsells. And we're going to get in depth on those upsells at a later date, but because right now I just want to be able to have you guys understand the actual flow of how a good funnel goes. And then this would be a downsell. And this is what makes, and the cool thing about ClickFunnels is this is what's called a one-click upsell or downsell, where literally by pushing just one button, the information's already in ClickFunnels once they hit this order page. And now just by pushing yes on a button, they're able to add these items to their cart. Now, so you've hit them multiple times with multiple products along this like customer journey, we call it, where they had the Tripwire initially. You got them a little bit there. Got them at the webinar, or maybe you didn't get them in the webinar, but you got them in the follow-up to the sales page to the order form. Then you've got them in the upsell, which usually a little higher ticket. It might be coaching or one-on-one. Or if you do, and then a lot of times we'll hit them with, even if they buy the upsell, we'll hit them with a downsell, because sometimes that might be something they'll fill a gap. Like it could be you're not looking for coaching, but say if we're talking about ads or something, this might be like agency calendar or something where you're able to put your clients or something cool, or Trello or something cool like that, where it's a little lower ticket, but it's not, it's definitely congruent with what your offer is. And then from your downsell, you got your actual confirmation page. Let's see here. We're going to go double thank you because they don't have a confo. So this is going to give you a confirmation. Now, this isn't actually necessary. I like to put a confirmation page because it allows people to see their order, and you can prep them for other things that are coming in the pipe. So for instance, if there's other, there might be a time, I like to actually do this more on the thank you page. The confirmation is going to be where they're going to actually get the confirmation of their order and where they'll be able to access their order. I'll usually put a timer on the confirmation page that says you'll be redirected in 30 seconds. Check your email so that you'll be able to access your content right away. For immediate access to your content. But what I like to do is put on the thank you page things like, those people, as silly as it sounds, the reason why Amazon does certain things is because it works. So we know on their checkout pages, they'll have stuff like, oh, those people that bought this maybe bought something else like this. So if you've got other offers that you haven't hit with the upsells or the downsells, I'll always put them on the thank you page. Or if I want to have them maybe go to a blog or maybe join a Facebook group, the thank you page, confirmation page, you can combine those sometimes into one page, depending on how you want it to flow. But I really like to give the customer, even though they made a purchase, even though we're going to hit them with more stuff in emails and bots, I like the funnel to be part of my directory where I'm telling them what to do, because your customer, if you don't tell them what to do next, they're just going to close the page down and they'll go to Facebook or something like that. But if on my thank you page, I say, thank you so much for your product. I really appreciate you getting product X. I know it's going to make a big difference. But you know what? I want you to go to my private Facebook, or hey, go to my YouTube page. I want you to subscribe because I've got a lot of great content that I'm going to be putting out for you, and I want you to be able to not miss anything because I know it's going to make a difference. Something, you guys get it. You know what I'm talking about. But use the thank you page. Use it to help. It's real estate. It's free real estate. Advertise on it. Help your clients out. Get multiple touch points. I don't know if you've seen some of the other videos, but I've found out that it takes up to 22 touch points to be able to get someone to convert. Don't waste any of those touch points. So the next thing, now this is a long funnel, mind you, and I'm showing you all the steps here of everything you could possibly need for $1 million funnel. So we've got next is a thank you page. Now, mind you, from this point on, things aren't necessarily going to flow right to the other, but I'm putting them in this order because if I was building this funnel out, it'd be very similar to this, and I want you guys to have this template so it's easily accessible to get the idea, the mindset of how this funnel should flow. So the next thing we've got is the actual waiting list opt-in. You're like, waiting list opt-in? What the heck is that? We just sold them stuff. Well, nowadays, a lot of people like to do the closed cart where I'm only going to have my course available for X amount of time, usually, 5 to 7 days or something. Maybe if it's just even a weekend, depending. This is going to increase scarcity. It's going to increase that FOMO, that fear of missing out. But you always want to make sure this is legitimate. A lot of people have done, fake scarcity. It usually doesn't work out very well for you in the end. So this is the waiting list opt-in. So what you're going to want to have here is you're going to have a waiting list page, and we're going to discuss this more in depth, but you're going to want to have a waiting list page for those who missed the deadline. So if you are a closed cart, you still want a way to have collect people's information. You just want them to go to the site and be like, okay, later, and just take off, and they're gone. You want them to be able to engage. You want every touch point you can. That's where the waiting list opt-in comes into play. And then, of course, we're going to have the waiting list thank you page. Now, the waiting list thank you page, again, we're going to get more in depth on how this should, but this is where they're going to give a little teaser of when the next availability might be, because you want them to have hope at the end of this when they join this thank you or this waiting list page. You want them to be like, oh, it's going to be 3 months, or I usually have a countdown timer. It depends. Some people like to do it every like 2 to 3 months or 4 months. Every quarter, they're going to open the cart again. So you can set the timer for that, so that way people will know, hey, okay, in 3 months or X amount of days, or it could be next week, they're going to be opening cart. I'm going to keep my eyes open for these emails. Now, the next thing, again, these don't have to be in any way, shape, or form in the same funnel. I'm just putting it all in the same funnel for you so that you guys are going to have access to it, and we'll build that out. Let me real quick add this. So we've got the order form. We've got the upsell. We got the downsell. And also make sure when you're picking the templates for the upsell and downsell, like before, you're going to want to go up to the actual bar at the top. And we're going to get in these. We're going to actually go through later videos and pick these and pick the templates and explain stuff to you. But you want to go across this top here and get OTO. This is also the upsell, downsell. Let's add downsell. All right, downsell. And we're going to do the order confirmation. Let me put these in here for you. Oh, well, here's what we're going to do is I'm going to add all these in because I don't want to really waste you guys' time on this anyway. We're going to add all these in. Again, these are going to be added into the actual description will be this template. So you'll be able to get all these funnel steps will be in there. You'll be able to play with them. We're going to be in later videos in the mini course going back over these funnel steps, telling you what emails should be attached to them, what bots should be attached to them, how to build them out, what your thought process is, and why they're in this order. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually have our membership area, and this is going to be membership access. And then we're going to have, and this is going to be the actual membership site itself. Excuse me. So, and then the last two parts, we're almost done with the $1 million funnel, skeleton, we're going to call this, or a schematic. So the next thing you want to do, because we're going to want, a lot of times it's great to have affiliates. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add an affiliate site to this. And this is going to be your affiliate site. So this is going to be your affiliate access page. And then the last thing we're going to do is the actual affiliate site itself. We're going to have all your information for your affiliates. You're going to have like templates. You're going to have like swipe files for emails, all that good stuff. But we're going to get all into that in depth later in other trainings and other videos. Today, I'm going to wrap it up. This is the Funnel Doc. It's been a pleasure. This video, this mini course, it's something that's really close to my heart because I love funnels so much, and I want to be able to give you guys the outline out there for free so that you guys can just take this and run with it. So by the time you get to the, I believe it's 4 or 5 days, I haven't actually decided in the creation of this how I'm going to do it, but you'll have this funnel with a good structure built out to be able to help you to be able to create your own $1 million funnel. Thanks a lot. It's Funnel Doc signing out. Peace.